It's Nagalina Kipule Mulibati, and this is Stories Untold. It's the home of good news. You are definitely in the right place. So thank you for tuning in. Today we are all about inspiring change on the show. And while we are at it, we might as well ignite a business idea or two. We're going to engage with community builders, subsistence farmers who are all about empowering their communities. We're going to start our journey in Soweto with a farmer who specializes in farming from the comfort of his own home. I know you're wondering how. Let's go straight and see.
It looks more like a water project than a farm. These tanks are the latest innovation in urban fish farming. Inspired by his father to start fish farming, Lefuno was selling fish bait to local fishermen in his village. As the passion grew for fishing, he then started his own farm in his backyard.
So before I started fish farming, I actually even started my own fish bait company called Emperor Cup Baits, where I make fish baits, and then I sell it to the fishing industry. So then from there I was like, okay, why don't I start fish farming? And I had a problem where I was staying before. The house was so small, the backyard was so small, but I wanted to do it on a flow bins, the 1,000-liter tanks. But I couldn't fit those tanks on the backyard. Then from there I started praying for God to give me a big stand. Then this is it. It's like 800 square meters. It's really huge.
Before turning his yard into a fish farming hub, Lefuno's backyard was a huge empty space. Together with his business partner, they decided to dig the pond by hand and turn it into an urban fish farming project.
I started digging this pond with one of the guys that is no longer here, was coming from Lesotho, and then we just dug this. We didn't use any excavators here. We dug them, pick and the shovel. That's why we elevated higher. All this soil which was here, it was leveled here on top. So I started digging the ponds, and then people, they're like, are you crazy? What are you doing? I remember my daughter one day, she was like, are you going to do swimming pools? I was like, no, I'm going to do pools for the fish, not for humans.
With the success of the fishing project, business person and social media personality Banele Rowa saw an opportunity to work with Lefuno to grow the business and take it to new heights.
In 2023, I started a campaign and said, let's bring together a band, right? And let's start a business together. And let's take that business from 0 to 1 million. That was January 2023. And then in the searching of what business we are going to start, someone suggested that we have aquaponics, right? And then we started investigating aquaponics because I knew nothing about aquaponics. And then when we settled on Uguchi, that's what we're going to do, someone then connected me to Sylvester and said, there's a gentleman, a Protea clan, and he has my intentions of actually starting. And the brilliant thing that I loved about Sylvester when we met is that he had already akupile, right? So mohlangana nomuntu who has shown intention by action, that's when you know which this is a person to invest. So we started then our stokvel. What I do professionally, Mina, is I build a stokvel and then we invest in businesses and people like Abu Sylvester.
This project is benefiting also the community around. There's employment, there is knowledge, that which I'm willing to share with people. When it comes to employment, because now I think we have got about 3,040 fish on the system, and then in a week or two we'll be having like 5,000, 2,000, 2,500 more fish, and then that capacity you need about three or four people who are going to be employed permanently here.
With the success of the project and the Stokvel community, the project managed to impact people's lives positively by creating employment and multiple streams of income for some.
Sylvester does more than what is required. Every time I see him, I know Guti, I have to expect something new. And he's great at actually explaining. Like he explains to you like you're a 5-year-old. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. And a lot of people, they come to him, Guti, they need to learn.
I can say me. I'm all Lefuno for fish farming training. Today I was learning how to farm a fish. The training was one of the best. I'm going to give it back to the community of fish farming. I hope South Africans are aware what we are experiencing, challenging fish farming. Then now is the time to rise up. We have to supply fish to the country for the needy ones. Thank you.
Fish is slowly becoming a staple food in some households. Thus, Lefuno is not worried about customers and running out of business.
I chose to stay in Soweto firstly, and then on the back of my mind, there is a market for people who eat fish. We have a lot of people are coming from our neighboring countries: Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Ghana, Nigeria, Zambia. Those people, they eat fish. So, and also South Africa import a lot of fish, a lot of tilapias. So we were like, okay, we're gonna do catfish. Catfish mostly it's farmed in Nigeria and Ghana, and it's not a familiar fish. So we're gonna introduce that fish slowly into the South African fishing industry, and then we see how it works. But people eat catfish a lot. They can show you how much nitrates.
What makes him proud about this project is a number of people, including the Department of Agriculture and other stakeholders, saw this innovation and has shown interest in adapting this technology model as it is and apply it in their communities.
There's a mining company that wants to actually start, they want to take this system and plant them into different communities they're already looking after. So you can see that there is success stories that this project is bringing in the community.
One of the perks of working from his backyard is having to be fully hands-on to make sure that the system runs smoothly.
If just my house is there, and then I can wake up anytime, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and just walk out and come and check out how the fish are doing. Rather than actually traveling kilometers away to the farm, if electricity Eskom does what it does best, then I can just walk up here and switch on my generator and run the pumps.
As we gear up to feed the fishes, Lefuno reiterated that he hopes aquaponics farming will be the saving grace to counter the high price of protein and poverty in poor communities.
Welcome back. This is Stories Untold, the home of good news. Would like to encourage you to engage with us on social media. Would like to know thoughts that you have about our show, or you simply know a community builder that deserves a spotlight. That's what we are here for. And it's only an honor to be able to spotlight these incredible individuals who do amazing work in communities. We are going to another community right now with the Ruya Foundation. Now, they help children in underserved communities to be able to address issues and challenges of eyesight. Now, in most cases, you find that children have low vision, but they do not know it, and they're not detected from a very young age. Only later on, when they struggle in class or academically, that it is discovered that there is problems with low vision. Let's get straight into that story.
Children depend on their vision to learn tasks that will prepare them for school and life in general. They use their vision to guide other learning experiences. From ages 2 to 5, a child will be fine-tuning the visual abilities gained during infancy, and early steps taken to help ensure that vision is developing normally can provide a child with a good head start in life.
Back in 2016, my first experience into the working world, I had found that in terms of having eye care services in our underprivileged communities, there was a lot lacking in the rural communities, not only in terms of eye care services, but also just eye care awareness. So having that conversation about why eye care is so important, why testing your eyes should be prioritized. Like what I found working at the clinics was that it was very different. We would be there with our equipment ready to test, but people wouldn't come to us necessarily because it would be the other concerns with regards to general health. So we'd be waiting, queuing to see the nurse. Whereas for my station, there would be literally nobody over there. So I felt as an optometrist, newly into the working world, just fresh out of university, it was my responsibility to educate people why it's important and then bring them to us, to get them into this testing station, let us know what's going on with their eyes, let us figure it out in terms of, is there an eye health issue or something like just a vision problem? Especially with the younger children, not knowing that they actually have a vision problem. They aren't able to perform well at school. So what it was for me, it was more about just learning about optometry in the working world. It was so different compared to what we studied, and realizing that not everybody had either access to the care or didn't know why it was important. So it was my responsibility to have that or create that platform that would allow this conversation to go forward. Bring the people in, let's discuss your eyes, your concerns, your vision, what's going on. Is it an eye health problem or something we can manage with spectacles?
With the help of her family and her now husband, Zahira's heartwarming initiative steadily grew.
So when we started, it was very small. It was just myself going out with my optometry equipment that we had to purchase as part of our studying program. So in terms of that, I would literally Google homes and phone them. They probably thought it was a scam at first, but just phone them up and say, look, I'm an optometrist. I would like to come out to test the children at your facility. Would you be interested in something like that? And one or two, they actually declined, and others, they were keen on it, so we went through.
So I actually met Zahira for the first time after she had an event at an orphanage where she tested a few kids there. And when we met, she started telling me about the initiative that she started, and I was so amazed by this person that's being so selfless, and it was just mind-boggling. And from there, once we've got married and things, I think she was a bit worried that maybe this would be a bit too much, and I felt like it was such a noble cause. So we both together, we used to take out time from our Sundays, and together this was like I would say like our little date that we used to go do. And we used to go test kids. And it was such a wholesome experience because there's these kids that don't have much. I mean, they don't have parents at all. So, I mean, here's two randoms that just come in and we start testing their eyes and giving them some glasses and things.
Just doing that, I realized it was so necessary because in maybe a population of 60 children, we would find that at least 20 out of the 60 would actually need some kind of intervention. If it wasn't spectacles, they may needed like an allergic eye treatment or dry eye treatment or some kind of further intervention from an ophthalmologist perspective. So even to now, it's literally me Googling homes in the different, so we try to sort of see each district and then find homes in that specific district that would qualify under the Ruya project, and then we then go out and offer them the services. So we try to schedule the events on a Sunday where we can get qualified optometrists to volunteer. And then also the UJ optometry department in Gauteng, they send out the optometry students to help us on the day so that we can actually see more people per screening. So since we started to now, there's been a lot of development and growth, a lot of trial and error, figuring it out as we're going along.
As the project has continued to grow, support from donors has allowed the Ruya Eye Care project to reach more than 1,000 children from Gauteng and more recently KwaZulu-Natal and the elderly.
Initially, when I first started working, I was still living at home and all of that, so I would try to pay for the spectacles myself. But since we've grown, it's been amazing with a lot of private sponsors who then donate towards our spectacle initiatives. Like we've currently got the 1,000 Spectacles for 1,000 Children project running, where people will then sponsor towards that initiative, and then we dedicate that funding towards purchasing the spectacles or paying for the lenses, for example. And then as of last year, we've got quite a significant sponsorship from one side, Ruya Foundation. So they've basically contributed a certain number of spectacles towards our initiative. And then that helps us in terms of getting the frames and lenses, as well as a case and a cleaning cloth for each child or elderly person that we test.
Her passion for eye care has helped countless children, and she has roped in a community of eye care specialists to lend a helping hand.
want to create a holistic approach. So one, it's identification, and then awareness. So just educating about the condition, spectacle intervention, and then if we need something beyond that, we've created a network of ophthalmologists who come on to assist us with these. So either we have to do a case specific where we try to raise funds for that specific operation that is needed, or if there's somebody who can cover the cost. So for example, some ophthalmologists would see the child or the elderly person without charging a fee. So this is where the challenge comes through with that specific funding, because it depends on the procedure that is required. Something like a cataract procedure, there's a lot of funding, a lot of organizations actually covering those kind of procedures. But something else like keratoconus intervention or a pterygium removal, for example, we are currently working on a phase 2 where we work closely with other ophthalmologists to try and create this platform of further than spectacle intervention as well, so that we know that the child or the elderly person we are seeing, it's not just, okay, we've identified the problem, now go and manage it yourself. We want to be able to do that under the project as well.
The project has expanded to creating fun learning and teaching aids to encourage good eye health. Some of these books are fun literature for children, teaching them about eyesight, and serve as a great gift for those donating to the project.
With the Ruya project, what we wanted to do was not only just appeal to people for funding. We wanted it to be something where if you're donating towards the project, you should get something in return that would also help us further the cause of eye care awareness. Like I mentioned, the main thing was just getting that conversation going. Unfortunately, optometry's got this bad reputation of the moment you come into the practice, it's numbers, it's money. So we wanted to re-establish optometry as a form of primary healthcare, where we want to prioritize your vision, your care for the eyes. Because there's so many conditions. By me testing your eyes, I can actually pick up if you've got a diabetic problem, if there's a blood pressure issue, or something even beyond that. But because we sort of so focus on the spectacle part, we forget that. So with the book, the whole initiative of the 4-part short story program, we wanted to sort of give something where the child that we are now, or that basically the parent who's donating to us, there's something that they like sort of getting for the child that would then also educate them about having the eye test done.
The project's passion for eye care shines through in everything they say and do.
It's actually very, very rewarding to see a kid that doesn't have much and you can give him a pair of glasses and the way his eyes light up, he's like, this is the world. I'm supposed to be seeing things like this. And it's actually such an amazing initiative that she started.
Get to as many people as we possibly can to serve our people, and especially with children, highlighting that need that they, in terms of getting them to the optometrist, getting them the spectacles that they need, or even the eye care intervention, because they are our future and we need to invest in them so that they would also feel inspired to one day give back to others as well. So it's all about just, making people love their eyes again. That's what we'd like to do.
Welcome back. Here on the show, we love a good story, but most importantly, the kind of story that always ends with everyone sitting around the table and enjoying a good meal. The story is definitely not about food, but it's about a subsistence farmer who started a small garden that later became the kind of garden that feeds an entire community. Let's see.
Community-supported agriculture programs have gained traction in some townships. They are offering a sustainable and community-centric approach to food production and distribution. What started as a school feeding scheme project ended up as a lifetime opportunity for Ntate Molifi to sustain himself and his community by selling vegetables and giving back to the community.
We registered as non-profit organization in 2003, okay? And during that time, we had planted in an open area. So the place in Irlemo we were in, it was under the pylons, electricity pylons. Now, as we were working with the Department of Agriculture, they suggested that we come to a school called Kobushiani Primary School. That's when we arrived here. And the department assisted us in building us a borehole for irrigating the plants, and they assisted us in bringing us tools and working equipment so that we are able to work properly and in a right way to grow the crops.
Ntate Molifi Small Farm plays a vital role in enhancing food security by providing reliable access to fresh, locally grown produce.
The crops that we have at the garden at this moment is different kinds of crops, meaning I'm saying spinach, we have beetroot, we have onion, we have potato. Now we are on the process again of increasing into planting pumpkins. Now the main challenge that we have is that as we look around the market, the local people, they are more interested in buying spinach because spinach is a staple food for their homes. So what we do is mainly we deal with spinach. That is a major crop that we build. As we say, the onion and other crops, they are assisting the spinach as a main crop that we plant.
Not only does the farm contribute to the local economy, it also gives opportunities to young and old to learn about farming while earning a living.
Bone bo tšhentšhile rra šhelenyana ke kry-ang ke tsa gore la e le bonnyane mara ke kgonna bophelo bo ka bo ntse bo tswalela pele ga go tshwane le ke dutse fela ke ne ke lakaletsa gore nna kare ke sia ka mo ke teng mo ke a bona gore wae o ka re bokoa bo se bo iphile maatla ne ka te ka gola re ke sia ga ntate ke mo sia le ena a kry batho ba ka salang a dirisana le bone a ka re dirisana le ene ke batla go bona e ka be godile a la nne plek ya la ntle
ke sebetsa gantle ka bophelo bo go thomile gantle e be ke zama mesebetsi e mengwe ka kontle before ke tlo thoma ka mo after mo le go ke am pitsa batla batho e be ke tlo thoma go bereka mo bo tsile gore bophelo bo ntse ke bophelana ke le ka sa sebetsi e be ke thoma go sebetsa mo ka bophelo ba ba right.
Embodying the principles of community empowerment and fighting poverty, Ntate Molifi gives out food for free to the elderly and around his community.
We did supply to the school where we are at this moment because that was an agreement between the Department of Agriculture and the school management that for us to be able to say thank you for letting us use your space, we are going to provide spinach, which this spinach is not provided by the school nutrition companies.
Tshimo e ya Ntate Molifi ra Sekwai e re tswela molemo haholo hobane di-vegetables tsa re fang tsona ebile wa re naganela rona re ba re golang sasa le community. Ke lakaletsa gore modimo wa ise a etse gore e prosper ka nnete e tswelle pele e ne e re thusa jwalo le ba ntseng ba tla ba re latelang ba ne ba fumane molemo wa re tsetsang ona ka metlha le matsatsi.
We give to a few families that do not have anything to eat. They go to sleep hungry. And then furthermore is that we give to the pensioners.
Local farmers often face weather challenges at times. Ntate Molifi had to rebuild and replant a couple of times due to bad weather conditions.
We do have challenges. One challenge is the challenge of weather. But fortunate enough is that the funder managed to buy us channels. So whenever we plant, we make sure that they are covered in channels. But when we plant outside, we may have the challenge of rain.
As we draw closer to the festive season, Ntate Molifi is encouraging us to buy from local farmers as these farming projects play a vital role in promoting sustainable agriculture, supporting local farmers and building resilient communities in South Africa.
Our research has shown that many of the people who are buying from us, as we say, the market is much more to the walk-ins, local people who are coming in to buy spinach at the cost of 10 rand than taking the spinach into wholesale markets and all that.
Ntate Molifi Small Farm plays a vital role in enhancing food security by providing reliable access to fresh, locally grown produce. This is significant in some townships in South Africa, where access to nutritious food can be limited in certain communities.
We've come to the end of our journey this week, but we are back here, same time, same place, with yet another great story, initiative, and individuals who just do incredible work. Would like to encourage you to keep engaging with us, and thank you for letting us into your home and sharing your stories. Without you, there definitely is no Stories Untold. I really mean that. So thank you once again. Let's do this again right here. Until next week, goodbye.